Hello, everybody. It's great to be with you. Um, you can also call me Sylvia Has Everything if you want, because my last name it's in past tense because I used to have nothing and now I have everything. And speaking of that kind of change, in a world where change is the constant, For the People really finds itself nestled amongst global transition. From the large-scale astrological movement into the age of Aquarius, to the urgency ushered in by Generation Z, to the onset of artificial intelligence laboring to globalize natural energy, such as solar and wind, For the People finds its place in this time of transition by institutionalizing new structures of cooperative economics and systems of care for living beings. At the nucleus of the human ability to effect lasting, sustainable change lies our relationships with each other, with our tools, with the land, and with all living things. Can you all hear me okay? Is this a little bit better? Okay. For the People is revolutionizing these relationships by systematically centering care in all that they do. The systemic centering of care has been evident to me not only as a body orbit in the orbit of their work, but as a helper to them in creating and codifying these systems as well. For the People dares to ask the question, what if, despite all of the powerful systems saying we can't, what if we actually did what was just, what was good, and what was loving? And then, even more bravely, they set out to answer that question. They do so through many mediums. Sarna teaches people through her educational series. Yolotli actively fights climate change by building an urban farming organization. And every day that Derek finds himself breathing, he engages in direct action for climate justice. For the People also has a project called Community Care Debt Relief in partnership with the Salish Sea Cooperative Finance, in which they support college graduates with getting out of school debt. And you've already heard them tell those stories. And so I want to tell a story that's perhaps less well known. And that's the story of the way these people work together. If you run in circles similar to the ones I do, you may have heard a lot of talk of doing the work over the past few years. But what does that even mean? It means a lot of things, but one piece of doing the work is choosing what is good and loving and sticking to it. And doing this in every aspect of your life when the opportunity presents itself. And that is what For the People is doing. They're concerned not only with the work they present into the world, but with the daily task of living the work with each other. For the People has committed to living out their values and how they interact with each other at all times. That means they are aspiring to and living out the reality they are also working to build. This is important because the more a person practices a way of being, the more that way of being becomes second nature. I could go on a long-winded soapbox about brain science to help you really see the point, but I'll do my best to keep it simple. The human brain is wired for connection, so much so that we actually even learn best through the act of modeling. That means the more we as individuals commit to this way of being, the more we are helping those around us as well. Sometimes people wonder why their company-wide equity initiatives might feel inauthentic or impossible to fully implement. And I found that at least part of the answer lies in relationships. And the other part typically lies in systems. But the thing they have in common is power and its distribution. We can implement as many equity initiatives as we'd like, but if we do not stay vigilant and critical of how power shows up in our relationships, our initiatives won't work, and vice versa. If all we do is critique the imbalanced ways power is showing up in our relationships, but never implement new systems, we find ourselves feeling stuck at best and disrespected or disillusioned at worst. Many of the companies and organizations that I work with have realized how important one is, but not the other. And the thing that makes For the People stand out in the revolution is its commitment to the equitable distribution of power for the purpose of right relationship between all earthly beings. I hope it's no surprise to you when I say we live in a society founded on the violent hoarding of power by a few and the violent subjugation of the many. The international chattel slave trade is no longer a legal market, but its essences remain deeply rooted in the USA way of being. And it's actually really bad for most people, not just descendants of the formerly enslaved. But Zarna, Yolotli, Derek, Dante, Susan, and Sandra are all here for the good of the people. They are for the people. And an investment in their work is an investment in all of our future. The systems, mindsets, skills, and tools that For the People are developing are exactly what we need as we transition from a global system of exploitation to a global system of right relationship. And so at this time, I'll ask you to consider, how much power do you have? And how can you contribute some of that power to the people doing the work? At this time, I'll invite you to take a moment to commit to the value of centering care in our relationships and our systems by deepening your contributions to For the People. In so doing, you are really co-conspiring for a more just distribution of power. We all know that the COVID-19 pandemic has altered the way we do life on so many levels. The disruption to relationships that are critical for fundraising has had a significant impact on For the People. And yet, For the People continues to be committed to its value of centering care in relationships. So, that being said, we're setting a low but achievable goal. Of course, we want to do more, but we also want to prioritize the feelings of camaraderie and achievement, which sustain the collaborative approach For the People takes to connect board members, organizers, and contributors. The funding committed today will be the main source of income to help For the People operate and keep its organizers active. And today's target is, drum roll please, $10,000, including all the pledges, monthly and one time. Already, For the People has 5,730 pledged out of the $10,000 goal. How can you support in reaching it today? Remember, investing in For the People is an investment in the tools, knowledge, skills, mindsets we need for a just transition, and more importantly, the people who are leading us there.